What's up, guys? Today we are doing the first shelf of my drama section. Starting off things here with the number 23 with Jim Carrey. I bought this way back when it first came out on Blu-ray. It is one of Jim Carrey's better serious movies. But I still haven't taken it out of the cellophane. I used to own this on DVD. I've just never gotten around with everything I've got to watching it again. But it is very good for one of his serious movies. One of Joel Schumacher's last good movies too. I mean, he's one of those hit or miss directors as well. But yeah, if you like those thriller, murder, mystery type movies, you'll love this movie. Definitely gotta check it out if you haven't seen it. Then we've got In the Valley of Elah. This one was okay. It was kind of slow moving, but if you're a Tommy Lee Jones and a Charlize Theron fan, you'll probably enjoy this movie. Susan Sarandon did okay, but it's not a very fast-paced movie. This was Paul Haggis after he had just done Crash, so everyone was kind of on his bandwagon. You really haven't heard a lot from him lately. The last I've heard of him was he wrote Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. That's the last I've heard of him working anywhere or doing anything that I've seen anyway. Then we've got Flags of Our Fathers. It's a Clint Eastwood movie. This was a pretty good movie. It wasn't Clint Eastwood's best work, but it was still good. I did like how they did this and the next movie that I'm going to show you at the same time, and did it from both points of view. And believe it or not, that one did better than this one in the theater, even though they were released in the same year. But I mean, the cast in this movie was it was pretty solid as well. Ryan Phillippe, Jesse Bradford, Adam Beach. They were going with a younger cast for this movie. But solid movie, you should definitely check it out. And here's the better of the two right here, Letters from Iwo Jima. As you can see, it won all the Oscars too, and this was bad. This movie actually deserved the Oscars it won too. This isn't one of those like art house movies where they just give an award to make it seem important. But yeah, this if you're gonna only check out one of these, this is the one I'd check out of the two, for sure. Then we've got Out of Sight with George Clooney. Big George Clooney fan. This one was pretty good. Definitely a huge cast for this movie. A lot of noticeable faces. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it before and you're just a George Clooney fan. Then we've got Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino. Great Al Pacino movie. As I've watched some of his work, I still have to watch some of his older work. He usually hits for the most part. I haven't seen a lot of his newer work either. I think the last newest film of his that I saw was Righteous Kill in 88 Minutes. I haven't seen anything really after that. But yeah, this one was a really, really good movie. Great cast as well. Chris O'Donnell, underrated actor, doesn't really get a lot of work these days, but then we've got Patch Adams. It's no kid, a lot of people love this movie, and I get why. I only thought it was okay. It was, I'm not as big into Robin Williams as a lot of other people are, but it's a touching movie. Yeah, worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. It's just not my, like I said, I'm just not a huge Robin Williams fan. Then we've got La Bamba. I love this movie. This is a classic movie. I could, every once in a while I like to go back and watch this movie. I don't know, the music is fantastic. The casting's fantastic. Everything is perfect about this movie. Great cast there as well. I love S.I. Morales as his brother as well. Perfect casting there. Definitely check this out if you haven't seen it before. I'm going to have to look for this on, I don't know if they have it out on 4K or not. Comment down below if you know if they have this on 4K or not. Then we've got Footloose. Great movie. I definitely can see why they consider this a classic. Kevin Bacon at his best right here. You know, this is one of those storylines where it's definitely 80s cheese. Because you're like, oh, there's no way that, you know, that would make an interesting movie, and wrong. It is a really, really good movie. Definitely check this out if you haven't seen it before, especially people who don't like watching older movies. You'll want to check this one out. It's exceptional. Then we have It Could Happen to You with Nicolas Cage. This one was okay. You know, it's kind of one of those she was only with him for the money kind of things. But if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, you know, you'll like this movie. It's not one of his you know, twisted B movies that he's got that's been coming out lately. This was back when he actually made movies that were in the theater. But it's worth checking out if you want to see a Nicolas Cage movie you haven't seen before. Then we have 8 Mile with Eminem. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I did not expect Eminem to be that good of an actor when I originally saw this movie, but he actually turned out to do extremely, extremely well. Late great Brittany Murphy also in this movie did an amazing job, and Mekhi Phifer. You know, I love him as an actor. I don't know why he hasn't been in a lot of other stuff, but love him as an actor. Definitely check this out if you haven't seen it. Even people who are not a fan of hip-hop will still enjoy this movie, so check this out. And we've got a classic, Rain Man, with Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. Deserved the Oscar it got for sure. I had just watched a movie of his just a couple days ago called The Graduate, and you know, I can see why he got this role, because he kind of had those same kind of qualities in that movie as well, just not as dialed up as he was in this one. And he didn't have the great Tom Cruise to go off of either. But you know, this is one of those movies where when they say it's a classic, it actually is a classic. So check this out if you haven't seen it before. Then we have Fist with Sylvester Stallone. One of his lesser known movies. Worth checking out too, as I thought this was going to be an awful movie, as I bought this out of a movie bin back when they had the movie bin at Walgreens. And this is a phenomenal movie. Stallone showed his acting range for sure, and showed that he could definitely do more than just be the 80s action star. I mean, this is perfect in every way. I would personally consider this to be a classic right here. So check this out if you're a fan of Sylvester Stallone. Then we have Indecent Proposal. Not a huge fan of this movie. I like the actors in the movie, but for some reason the movie just kind of was boring to me. Wasn't very, you know, action thriller-ish. You know, if I'm gonna watch a movie like this, I more prefer like A Perfect Murder with Michael Douglas, or Unfaithful with Richard Gere. So this is kind of like third fiddle to those. I mean, still worth checking out if you're a fan of these actors. Don't get me wrong; it's not an unwatchable movie. I just don't think it's a amazing movie. Then we have Cocktail with Tom Cruise. Again, this is definitely an 80s movie, but you know, if you're a fan of Tom Cruise, check it out. It's not his best work, but it's better than his earlier work as well. Like, I wasn't a fan of, oh God, what is it? Risky Business and things like that. But this one's definitely better than those, in my opinion. Then we've got The Astronaut Farmer. I won't lie, the only reason I really bought this movie was because Bruce Willis had a cameo in it, and I'm a big Bruce Willis fan. This movie as a whole is ridiculous. Not a fan of it. I wouldn't waste your time unless it's somewhere on a streaming service. I would not buy this movie. But you know, there's some actors in this movie, but I'm really not a fan of this movie at all. Like I said, I only got it because Bruce Willis was in it. Then we've got A Time to Kill. Amazing movie. Absolutely amazing. Watch this for sure if you have not seen it before. All of these actors were in their prime. Matthew McConaughey is amazing. Sandra Bullock's great. Samuel L. Jackson delivers. Kevin Spacey is amazing. Say what you want about Kevin Spacey as a person, as an actor. He is one of the best. You know, one of Joel Schumacher's best works. I just don't get sometimes how some directors are so up and down as to where others are super solid. Joel Schumacher can either be amazing or crap. Then we've got Music and Lyrics. This one was only okay. These two didn't have a lot of chemistry together. You know, I mainly got this because I liked Hugh Grant in 2 Weeks Notice with Sandra Bullock. I thought this would be more of the same. It wasn't. Yeah, only average. Then we've got One Last Thing. This is not a movie a lot of people have seen. It was about a kid who's got like a wish, and he wishes to spend the day with a supermodel who he ends up falling in love with. And his parents were wondering why he would want to spend time with her. And of course they don't understand you know, the boy crushes and all that type of stuff. But definitely worth checking out. Then we have 8 Below with Paul Walker. Great movie, underrated. It did okay in the theaters. You know, great actor taken way too soon with Paul Walker's death, of course. Yep, Moon Bloodgood, Jason Biggs, Bruce Greenwood, great cast. Very well directed, very touching story as well. Disney in its prime. Then we have another Paul Walker movie, Hours. This is where he's trapped with his girlfriend or wife in a hospital during the hurricane, and everyone leaves the hospital and leaves them there, but he doesn't want to abandon his girlfriend. Very good. You know, it was actually more of a great thriller and drama at the same time. Definitely worth checking out. Like Paul Walker, when he was making those Fast and Furious movies, a lot of his movies that were not Fast and Furious did not make it to the theaters. They were more straight to DVD releases, but they are definitely really, really, really good. And this is one of his really good ones. Then we have Black Snake Moan with Samuel L. Jackson and Justin Timberlake and Christina Ricci. I mainly bought this. This was back, you know, I bought this back when I was buying every new release every week because I didn't have Netflix. What year was this? 2007. So yeah, this was back before I had Netflix. So I was just buying anything that looked somewhat interesting. It's kind of an outrageous movie. Definitely not one of Samuel L. Jackson's best movies, but you know, I'm sure he took it because it's a starring role in a movie instead of being a supporting role in a movie. So only average. I wouldn't go out of your way to watch it. Then we have The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. This was actually really good. It kind of shows the effects of wrestling long term and what the toll it can take on your body and you as a person. You know, instead of people thinking it's the easiest job on earth, it gets into the realistic kind of effects of the job. You know, I'm not a huge Mickey Rourke fan, but he delivered in this movie. Then we have Babel. Not a huge fan of this movie either. It was supposed to be like Crash, one of those multi-angled kind of stories, but this is boring. This is really, really boring. Not a huge Cate Blanchett fan. I mainly bought this for Brad Pitt, and I was disappointed watching this. But again, this was back when I was buying every movie every week that had something interesting in it that I was interested in. Yeah, not too great. Then we have Notes on a Scandal. Not, like I said, I'm not a huge Cate Blanchett fan. Out of her movies, this one's probably one of the more watchable ones. It's where she's a teacher who falls in love with a student and has an affair. Judi Dench isn't that great in this movie either. More annoying than anything. I'm not a huge Bill Nighy fan, so I guess it's just the whole cast that kind of turned me away on this movie. Then lastly for this shelf, we have A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray. This was actually really well done. I enjoyed it. Big Chad Michael Murray fan. Surprised he doesn't get more work. You know, Hilary Duff, same thing. She did really well in this movie. You know, great cast. If you haven't seen, you know, I have not seen any of the sequels to this because they don't have any actors that I know or care for. Comment down below if you've seen any of the sequels to these. But yeah, otherwise, please feel free to like and subscribe if you've liked what you saw today. All the support is much appreciated. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.